I'm going to do is ask a series of 4 questions and then give you an answer, and along the way I'm going to point out some common mistakes that I just know students tend to make and how you can avoid making those mistakes. So to start, I would like to know, what is this whole area? What is this? This? And then this thing here. So the first thing I indicated was the subscapular fossa. This is the coracoid process, the glenoid cavity, and this is the superior border of the scapula. And when we're looking at this, are we looking at the anterior side or the posterior side? So this is the anterior side. This is the side that would be contacting your ribs. When we look at this, this is the posterior side. Posterior side will always have this, which is the spine of the scapula. All right, so I would like to know, what is this? What is this? What is this? And what is the edge here? Okay, the first thing I indicated was the infraspinous fossa, then the acromion process, the suprascapular notch, and lastly the inferior angle. So things students mix up, they tend to get the fossas mixed up with each other. So the key is, look for the spine of the scapula. If you can see the spine of the scapula, above it is supraspinous, below it is infraspinous. If you cannot see the spine of the scapula, that means you're looking at the subscapular fossa. Students also tend to mix up the processes. So the acromion process is on the end of the spine of the scapula. The coracoid process is lower, so you can remember alphabetically with higher and lower. This is the acromion process, coracoid process, A, C. Another thing students will do is they'll want to say coronoid instead of coracoid. It is coracoid with a C because corac means it looks like a crow. I guess if you're imaginative, it looks like a crow. So corac with a C for crow. Moving on to the humerus. First, I want you to think, which is the anterior view, which is the posterior view. So when you're looking at this, when you look at the bottom, if you look at the fossas, that's how you can tell anterior from posterior. The posterior only has this one big fossa by itself. The anterior has these 2 fossas, and also you can clearly see this round thing, which I'm not going to name because I want you to do that momentarily. Okay, so looking towards the superior end, what is this? What is this? What is this? And what's this thing here, this area? All right, the first thing I indicated was the head of the humerus, then the lesser tubercle. The greater tubercle is always more lateral, so it's farther away from the head. And then I indicated this, which is the intertubercular sulcus. And this region here is the surgical neck. So going down to the bottom, I want to know, what is this? What is this? This and this. So this is the medial epicondyle. Even though we're zoomed in, hopefully you remember the head of the humerus was over here, which means we're looking at the medial side. This is the coronoid fossa, coronoid with an N. This is the capitulum, and this is the trochlea. And one more question, now 2 more questions for good luck. What is this? And what is this? So this is the radial fossa. This is the olecranon fossa. So on this, students tend to get the fossas mixed up most of all. So how to tell them apart is the olecranon is the only one on the back, O for only. The coronoid fossa is like a little triangle shape because coron always means a point or a triangle. And the radial fossa sits above the capitulum. Moving on to this bone. What even is this bone? This is the ulna, and hopefully you know that because there's a big U on the top for ulna. And then I want to know, what is this? What is this? And this. So this is the olecranon process because it's going to sit inside the olecranon fossa. This is the trochlear notch, and this is the radial fossa because that's where the head of the radius is going to sit. And now that you know that's the ulna, this is definitely the radius, but if you forget, just look at the top. It has a circle on the top. Circles have a radius. And only going to ask one question here. What is this bump? So that is the radial tuberosity. Tuberosities are always large roughened surfaces or large roughened bumps. All right, so that's all the questions I have for you today. I hope you feel great about what you know. Have a wonderful day and have fun learning.